Tell me your story.
I was this close to dying from a brain abscess that was misdiagnosed.
Good to know people care, though.
For a lot of people, the MRIs are clear.
You said you had a lot to tell.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said,
I thought it was normal to have like seizures by yourself all the time.
You definitely will feel guilt a lot.
I so appreciate you putting this together.
thank you. I got another post here. It says, what would you do? I'm a 30-year-old female on disability and I live with my family. The only way to treat my epilepsy going forward is resection surgery of the epilepsy origin site located next to my temporal pole. As we know, Medicaid gets cut 2027, and I'll be losing insurance for that year until I qualify in 2028 via disability for Medicare. So I won't have any access to any of my meds, presumably, for an entire year. I can either find $100K to go to South Korea and have my surgery done, or I can continue to fight insurance for however long it takes to get surgery done at UCSF via Medicaid. I know that this seems like it can be an obvious answer to have surgery via Medicaid, so I'm not paying, but this has been taken over a year and now is continuing to be denied. 100K is almost as much as 1 week seizure study. That money would be 2 months in South Korea and with all the bells and whistles. Samsung Hospital also has better tech than UCSF. What would you do?
Medicaid.
I guess she's Japanese. We're talking about Japan. But
Korea, right? Didn't she say
Medicaid.
Korea?
Yeah, South Korea.
So so she's Korean. That's
Yeah.
right.
South Korea.
But it's the same thing. She I doubt if she was American, she would only be looking at that one spot.
So what's the debate on this one? She wants to know if she should go to the better hospital that would be more expensive?
Better hospital in a different country.
Or
It would
Oh, okay.
cost her
the
more.
debate was, should she continue to keep fighting too? Which would be something you would do, Kate, is, keep fighting until you get it. Like you
I
did
mean,
with
if you're
your
not
arm.
dying, if it's not literally
Yeah.
life-threatening and you need treatment in the meantime, but
Yeah.
even while you're getting treatment, you can still do the paperwork and kind of the runaround from a hospital bed.
Yeah.
If it's like that.
So she has the opportunity to go to South Korea to get her operation, or does she have to pay extra for that? What does that say?
I
She
think
said it would cost her 100K.
Oh, 100K. Does she have that kind of cash?
Now that's the point. If how much does 100K mean to her?
If you're a
She's got 12 billion,
34-year-old
it's nothing.
female.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
30.
so this is more of a standard of like what insurance covers.
Right.
And doesn't cover for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so I
think-
mean, if the quality of care depends on insurance coverage, not to mention the cost, that it doesn't sound like it's going to be possible without the insurance, then it sounds like that is the goal. Then that's the
South Korea, right?
Yeah, it's either
I don't know anything about
pay out
that
of
part of the
pocket
world, the
or
standard of care.
yeah. If you really want to pay out of pocket, then you're gonna have to do that. That's the way to do it. But
Yeah, there's still going to be paperwork. I hate to tell you. I would just medicate it up because, yeah.
Medication without a year? I mean, for 1 year?
You should go to South Korea then. I mean, it's
that's dangerous.
100 grand.
That's too
and
long.
that's it.
Way too long.
I'd fight with the insurance. I'm quite persuasive on the phone.
Plus, your Samsung Hospital, I think you get a free TV with every operation. So I think it's a good.
I hope so.
Yeah. Your big wife.
Medication about a year though.
Is it
That's
a
like
smart TV?
Yeah, get a free smart TV. Every operation, Samsung Hospital.
Do you Bluetooth to it?
Classy, yeah.
Right.
So you just
They should hire
what channel you want it on?
advocate for them.
Yeah, they put a Samsung implant in your brain so you don't have to use a remote anymore. Exactly.
Man.
Is that what you're getting at, Andrea? That's pretty funny.
I wish that's how the RNS worked.
Well, that's
Well,
I was
Elon
about to
Musk
ask,
that's
is that
trying to
how the
do that.
RNS
He's
works?
the one trying to put chips in brains.
I got one.
There is one comment here. It says, "I'm more
you got
than
a
three
chip in your
times."
brain?
Wow.
Yeah. So, you any smarter? You got anybody whispering in your ear?
What'd you say, Pookie?
Um, the one comment here
I'll tell you
says,
later.
"I'm more than 3 times that in debt now, and my partner dying of cancer, and my cost just to stay alive. So, how important is the possibility of living life without the fear of having a debilitating seizure in the middle of work or driving and killing someone? Yes, this country is absolutely broken with healthcare, but the possibility is there for you. So go take it and find resolution later for the cost. $100,000 is a lot.
Yeah. Sounds like there's other variables we don't know about of this story.
Well, that is the harsh reality, though, too. Somebody just used their own example. And now I'm in debt. My partner still died. And is it worth it?
Yeah.
That's harsh.
Yeah. I'd go to Korea.
And still risking
Go there.
what's it called?
I'd go
Why
there.
don't drive with epilepsy?
Yeah, while the American situation is figuring itself out, I think I'd go to Korea, and pray for the best. Just wait a bit, see if it works out, and if it doesn't, then you're in Korea for the resection, unless you just don't want to get resection. But still, I just keep going back to thinking this person said they're going to be without medication in 2026, which is really soon. So, like,
Yeah, that won't happen though.
Yeah, that won't happen. That won't happen.
Realistically won't happen.
No.
That's like fear mongering. They're reading the wrong part of the Reddit.
Yeah, I
Being
would
that
have
she's
to
in a
say
different part of the world, though, we can't be so
I don't-
confident on that.
I wouldn't be so
I
sure it's not going to happen.
I've been an advocate for homeless people. People get medicine.
Yeah, people get medicine.
Yeah, but for epileptics, if they're quick to just put you on the next best one, that could
Yeah.
cause them some fucked up clusters.
Jonathan, I
I mean,
think you're
whatever.
not.
People get
I think-
medicine. Pharmacies are
Jonathan?
very understanding, and if you explain to them your circumstances under the right parameters, they will provide you seizure medicine.
But
Yeah.
that's why the issue is when the manufacturer is causing the shortages and the pharmacies are not getting the pills and the doctors are not getting their what do they call those samples?
Compensation.
Then it gets well no they don't
Samples.
get anything. So you literally can't even find what you need for one dose or while you're titrating. If you have to, if you're on that brand name that is only a brand name, that you don't even have a generic yet, and your insurance goes away or something happens with the supply, then that's kind of a rock and a hard place where
I'm
even
not
if they
familiar with
switch
that
it,
scenario.
when some of these medications, it's really, really important that you don't just start taking, just go like half that dose for the week and then half that dose for like you have to titrate down really, really slowly. They actually have to write a new script because the pills aren't scored or it's just not accurate enough to split them yourself.
The
So
benzos are under that category.
yes, hello clobazam. And that's just another,
Oh, did
touchy
you
situation.
take clobazam? That's on fee,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Did you
Clobazam's done for me.
All right, you don't like it?
The goal with the RN after the RNS 5 years ago was to get off of all the meds. So now I'm just trying to make that a reality.
Was it hard coming off on fee?
So not familiar. Onfi?
Clobazam.
Oh, okay. Not any harder than expected. I think I haven't read the notes in a while, but I think it was just one major, and that was when I stopped altogether. So
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
surprise.
That's really typical of benzos, right? The
Well,
break.
for me, that's all of them. So I know I specifically have a sensitivity to any kind of change in, whatever levels, be it hormone or medication, or even if I go
Okay,
like a week without sweets and have a donut, watch out.
fair. Okay, yeah, yeah. Everyone's different, right?
Yeah. What were you saying, Jeff?
Jonathan, I think you should read Project 2025 before you make statements that people are going to get their medicine, because the current administration, Senate, and Congress do not give a shit about anybody on Medicaid, and they're not going to get their medication.
You do have a point there. You do
That's
have a
that.
point.
I will.
It's
I will.
fact.
Check this
All
out.
right,
Somebody's
everybody.
saying usually an invisible disability. 90% of the time, you'd never know I have medical issues based on appearance. But of course, today, when I'm doing a magic show for a bunch of people, wearing a bunch of dark purple IV bruises. Maybe I'll just own it. Then again, maybe I'll say I wrestled a bear or, something like that if somebody asks.
Scared the
So,
slippery.
anybody's epilepsy ever presented itself physically when you
Yes.
you're used to it not?
Stitches on
And
your
was
face.
that through
Yeah.
like having a seizure in public, or was it some kind of IV or like the EEG mark, like one of those?
When I left the hospital after the stroke and spending so much time in the hospital, I had so many dots on my arms and stuff like that. I was telling the next nurse after I see the next nurse that I'm not doing drugs, it's just the IVs or whatever.
But at
And
Stanford, wouldn't they give you those little band-aids or something to like take care of every single wound?
they did, but I'm saying when I got to get the next nurse and I got a dot on my arm
Oh,
and a
yeah,
dot
she's still
next to
seeing it.
that and dots all over my arms in different spots because they can't find veins. Some of those nurses, they didn't say anything, but before they could say anything, I'm like, okay, yeah, I've been getting shots all week, and this is the second hospital I've been in for the stroke, so don't think I'm doing anything. I just got a dot here and one next to that that's next to another one that's next to another one and so on. But yeah, it looks really weird if yeah, you just come in there and you don't say anything about all the dots and they're trying to put a dot in your arm and they see all those. I've gotten that. I've gotten the look where
Yeah.
they look down at the arm and then they're like,
Same thing with many of us that have a seizure and go missing teeth.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I had that medical ID bracelet. It's genius. I love how you guys put the no Narcan line on there, and
Yeah, we
yeah,
got it
that's
on
that's
there.
what I'm still debating, like what lines to get on the ID bracelet, or what do you call it? An emergency bracelet now, or
I
Yeah,
lost
emergency
mine. I lost mine.
medical emergency? Yeah.
Yeah, I just said I got my bracelet. Yeah, I've only got to
I
use it
won't trust the
once.
QR ones either because those things scrape and they mess up the QR.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good to know.
they also have this thing coming out with on our phones where they can scan it and get our IDs and stuff now. And I was wondering, are they going to do the same with like medical stuff when
You
they
should.
want us to scan to get our IDs on our phones? Yeah,
Yeah.
something I was wondering. Is like the medical stuff going to be on that information? Would
There
be
is
good.
some websites that come with like that. It's like here's this card and here's all my medical information and history.
I have a thing in my wallet that says like, no MRIs, no, what implants I have and stuff, seizure, whatever. But nevertheless, every time I go to the ER, they always do the blood work for somebody on drugs.
Yeah, they're going to do that.
Yeah, all the comments here are pretty much agreeing with what you guys said about the bruises, Some of them have obviously been approached as, saying that okay, somebody says, for example, You got bruises fighting off unicorns in the magic realm so you could get your magic gear. That's obviously, in response to somebody who's just saying like they got those side eyes and those like negative
Yeah.
looks.
You get the crazy looks or the crazy, like they don't want to say it, but you know what they're thinking. Like, you're a druggie.
Yeah, so this most popular one is saying I've been in your position and because it was rarely evidence to others. Lately, as a point of education and peace, I developed language that says, about 3 million adults in the US have epilepsy, and I am one of those unfortunate ones. I totally get it. It's scary to see, and it's scary for me to have a seizure. It's just part of my life, so I take care of myself just like someone with heart disease or who is diabetic. I think that opens the door for questions and understanding. So this person actually probably got approached negatively so many times that they came up with this line, this, kind of mantra of sorts of like response ready. That's pretty genius. That's something for us to memorize too. So that might be a little hard.
Wonder where the bruises were.
Probably all up and down where IVs were, but then again, during a seizure, it could happen anywhere.
Sure.
Yeah. My last
Another comment
seizure
said
gave me
they
black
got
eye.
some side eyes from a dislocated pelvis.
Oh man, the
So,
sidewalk is hard.
guessing that was probably a female.
Oh boy. One of my favorite floor testings, the sidewalk.
The sidewalk is wicked hard. It's so
Didn't we have
hard.
we were saying floor testers for a while.
Floor
Mhm.
testers.
It's my
Yeah.
verb. But I do got another post here. It
Here.
says daughter started having episodes. I think they might be epilepsy. My daughter turned 16 and started having fainting spells in April of this year. I went to emergency room with her twice. When it first started happening, she would lose consciousness, go completely limp, and slump over. Before this happened, she would complain about her heart racing and beating quickly. She will feel pain in her chest for a period of time before she loses consciousness. She wore a Holter monitor for 3 days. The test came back 100% clean, and they said she was not expecting any arrhythmia. So they ruled out the heart problem. They didn't do any neurological testing, as in their words, if it was a neurological, it would present in a severe form. So they didn't do any scans on her brain, and I asked them and was refused. Is it possible that this is some form of epilepsy? She told me the first time she had this type of episode, she was 14 years old, but it wasn't severe, and she didn't say anything to anyone about it. I'm going back to the doctors, obviously, but this week has been bad. For 3 days in a row, she cannot attend school due to fainting in class. She refuses to go to the emergency room. She won't agree to any test, so I'm stuck. Since she's 16, she is able to make her own medical decisions. What country is that?
She doesn't have any auroras or doesn't smell anything before her seizures. She just kind of spaces out.
She just goes limp. She has the dropping seizures, is what it sounds like. Body just drops to the ground. I forgot what that type of seizure is called again. Think it's elastic drop seizures, basically, and that's what it sounds like hers are. She doesn't say anything about the convulsing or anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, need more details, I think.
Yeah, I need more interested doctors.
My mom would never let me make a decision when I was 16.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering what state or
Yeah,
country
that's
this is in.
it.
I think this was atonic seizures, maybe? Atonic
Yeah,
doesn't sound.
atonic.
Yeah,
Oh, it is
atonic.
That
atonic?
sounds
Okay.
right.
All right.
That's
Well,
where you
thank
just drop
you.
to the deck. Can you have
Yeah.
an atonic seizure where you're standing?
Well,
No,
because
Right.
I
It's
think
no
I
it's
think
no
tonic
tonic.
is flexing, and
Thank
so
you.
atonic is like relaxing.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah. It's a
yeah,
simple drop. And sometimes it might not even be like you're fully dropping. Sometimes your head just might be dropping.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
that's
know.
what it says. Just body go limp and slump over.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I say talk to a few different neurologists, get some second and third opinion, however you feel, whatever you feel is better. Um, but that's rough.
Rough.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be back in a little bit, guys.
All right. One comment here says it could be POTS as well. I have both. Got diagnosed with POTS 10 years ago after years of passing out, starting when I was in middle school and high school. Another comment says the same thing. She might have POTS. I don't exactly know what it is. Anybody know what POTS is?
I don't. I don't know. One time when I was about 16, my mom asked me if I was on the pot, which I thought that was funny. At a very religious home, and they thought I was smoking weed. So, Jonathan, are you on the pot?
That
The
sounds like
pot.
someone who doesn't
I
smoke
looked it
weed.
up. It's postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome.
Pastoral.
Is a,
What's the second word? Orthostatic.
yeah,
What does that mean?
orthostatic. Ortho, I think that's
Corrective.
like, yeah. But reading the definition that giving it's POTS is a condition where a person's heart rate increases significantly when standing up, often by more than 30 or 40 beats per minute, with symptoms including lightheadedness, fatigue, brain fog, and headaches.
Interesting.
And the condition occurs because the autonomic nervous system can't properly regulate the blood pressure and blood flow to the brain.
So it's like standing up too fast, really bad.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think
your
I've
body.
heard someone come here that said something like that.
Is that a form of epilepsy, or is that a blood regulation deal?
Sounds like a form. This
I
is just
can't.
the AI definition, but that sounds like epilepsy.
Yeah, I believe it was Raven that explained something like that to me, and can't remember enough about her story to repeat it and explain. Because I think some of it might be wrong of my story. But yeah, something like that. Heard that.
Okay.
Uh, yeah,
We're all
got one here though.
doctors.
Say that again.
I said we're all doctors.
Uh,
We're,
We probably all know them more most neurologists these days.
I don't know where my water is. I lost my medical bracelet. I am not a doctor. I do not know more than them. Please do not
oh,
interpret
we're
my experience as
engineers.
knowledge.
Yeah, I have no medical
Yeah.
anything. Barely have medical insurance. But
Tell me about it.
I got something here. It says question about when and how long did it take for you to get a diagnosis? I recently started having episodes when I lose time. My PCP referred me to a neurologist. They have me in an epilepsy monitoring unit currently, trying to identify what's going on. How long did it take, and what did it take to get your diagnosis? I've been in the EMU for the last 3 days, and I will be leaving tomorrow. We haven't been able to induce one yet, and my EEG
Oh,
isn't showing anything concrete. I had three, I had two CT already, and an hour-long EEG just to get me here to the EMU and having an MRI done tomorrow. Just wondering how you folks find out what is really going on.
oh, that stinks. Being in the EMU and waiting for a seizure is no much fun. Sorry. I think Andrea's waiting for one coming up. But it is what it is. You just gotta wait and wait for the data, and the data will come when the data is supposed to come. It'll get there eventually. You just wait and hope, and it'll be there when it
Sometimes
gets
they get
there.
sometimes they get the data right away and they just want more and more of it.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll hook you up and they get it right away.
Uh,
One time, I had one time when I was in the EMU longer than I was supposed to be, and then one time I had the Meg test. They put it on my head, and I immediately had a seizure. So, who knows? I mean, it's just like seizures are a riddle. It's, I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to them as far as I can tell. There's things you can do to prevent them best you can, but you can't conjure them. So, unfortunately, you're at their kind of will when it comes to waiting for a diagnosis. The first time I went to the ER, they said it wasn't a seizure because I don't wet my pants. I was like driving around and stuff for days before I had another one. So,
how long?
yeah,
How long have you had epilepsy?
I guess always. When do you start having epilepsy, right? I mean, when
A
I was
lot
little,
of
People
people
had it.
develop it later in life.
right?
Yeah,
But I
some
mean,
of
so
us
like if you're an epileptic
earlier in
person,
life.
you are an epileptic person. When I was a little boy, I had the symptomatic things of focal aware seizures that I just figure were deep daydreams or something. And
Gotcha.
and my room was in the basement, and so nobody ever saw me have or heard me have a seizure, but I probably was. So when did I start having seizures? I don't know. The first time I had a roommate, the first night that I spent in a room with somebody else, they were like, yo, this kid's possessed. So, yeah, I guess 19, because nothing before that counted, I guess.
And
Right?
then nocturnals are really hard to determine too. Nocturnal seizures
I still
because
think
they could look
puberty is
like
to blame for a lot of us, even
What's
yeah.
in
that?
those cases. But like as a younger child, you would really have to assume that somebody would have noticed something. You know,
You would think.
especially when we have like extracurriculars and things like that. Somebody.
But
I
then
don't know.
again, back then, for me at least, like data wasn't as uh
Easy to get.
I wouldn't say privy, but that's the only word I can think of.
Well, you're not
Uh,
looking for it.
like it wasn't around. Like you don't have that much information back in the 90s, you know?
Yeah.
It's like
I
this
I think it
kid
just
looks
wasn't
like
on
he
anybody's radar. Nobody
yeah.
in my family has had brain issues. So no, it
Right.
wasn't like, you know, like what are you gonna do? Like nobody knew. It's not their
I
fault.
had
If
and
an epileptic falls in the woods, did he have a seizure? Yeah.
uh,
But if a doctor didn't record it, does it count? No, it doesn't, unfortunately.
I had an aunt with cerebral palsy and MS. It's in the genes. So my
And then you have
sister
the
had it.
RNS though. That's another appeal of some of these medical devices because the implants can detect and record your seizure activity and you finally have proof and not somebody to say, well, how do you really know?
Right. No, that's one of the advantages of having the implants is that so I went through all the medications and the medications weren't working or they made it worse or the results were negligible, right? And then I did get a good EEG that was like it looks like it's coming from here, but the MRIs were inconclusive. And so I went to Johns Hopkins and I had uh what they later said was a tumor removed. And then that gave them some data to go from. And then 2 years later, a similar sort of circumstance happened. And I was at a different hospital. At that time, it was Brigham and Women's in Boston. And I had another resection. And then I had like 10 years or so with like kind of uneventful seizure activity. And then it came back. So I got the VNS because I was like, let's start small before we start digging around in there again. And the VNS didn't help. Well, it did, but it didn't help sufficiently. And so
I
the
think the
battery,
VNS
I got, so
definitely.
4 years after that, I had the RNS put in and they got an additional resection. So it was just kind of, you know, it wasn't like, none of it was planned. It wasn't like when I was a kid, they're like, let's put implants in this kid. And
Yeah,
people were
that's
neglecting to
not the
see my
long term.
seizures.
I think the VNS really only helps when you know, like, and I'm not saying everybody, but it's when like you have an aura.
When you can feel your auras, it's perfect. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's it's
It's great
it's
when
the
you can
greatest
feel your
advice
auras.
because you can get to that magnet in time. For those of us who don't
Yeah.
know the auras or can't recognize it or are in like me, focal to bilateral, where you know it's it'll or complex partial seizures, it
Yeah.
doesn't it's not an answer.
Well,
And
the other commercial for the VNS that is true is that I think seizure recovery is improved with the VNS. Um, I think that I recover more smoothly. Is just like the whole like groggy memory that storm the following day is better after a bad seizure, and it does make my seizures shorter. The big ones makes the bigger ones shorter,
I wish
but it doesn't like it's not like if you get the VNS, it'll intercept all of your seizures.
we have Kevin with a VNS, and even now he still has to take other high end like Depakote and stuff,
Right? Yeah.
pills, and it's like it's not your one stop answer or anything. And I knew my stuff. Like I didn't have back then, but I looked at all my paperwork, my medical records and stuff. They knew something was up, even without like an EMU stay, because the EEGs were all coming back abnormal. Something going up in there. They just couldn't find it.
They couldn't make like one precise place. But you said you have bilateral seizure activity.
Focal to bilateral. They know the focal point was in the left uh, part of my brain,
Does it
but then
generalize?
and then it generalizes real quick.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry to hear
And I
that.
do, and I do have absence seizures. That was found out more recently, but my current neurologist believes it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah. 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 So that's back to that question of like, when did your epilepsy start or when did you get diagnosed? It's same difference. I don't know. Has it always been like this? Or is something growing in there? Oh no.
It's funny how you said something growing there.
Right?
Yeah. There's something inside my head.
Yeah.
So the question that we were on before we said something, I'll just read a few comments from here. This is the one about how, when, and long. How long did it take you to get your diagnosis? We didn't read that part of the question. For me to get my diagnosis, it was, I would say, fairly easy. Um, I was in class and I had a seizure, and then a few days later, I was in class again and had a seizure, and it was web design class, so they assumed it was being in front of the computers. So
Okay.
then they were just like, "You have epilepsy. You can't be in that class." And I dropped that class, and come to find out, it wasn't the computers, and I do not have photosensitive episodes. So yeah, I dropped that class for nothing. I could have been doing coding right now. I could have been doing so much, but
Not easy, but yeah.
Well, you still can, right? If you felt so inclined.
No, my memory is way too bad to try to learn anything new at the moment. Anything that I learn is gonna have to be based off touch or stuff like that. But learning new things, like being told something or something I'd read or have to write on paper or learn something off research, I'm not gonna remember it if someone were to ask me about it. So,
Okay.
um,
Not
and
yet.
it's
Yeah,
likely that
learning.
I don't remember most of it a few days later.
Fair.
But
Yeah.
things like
That's why I
using my
say
hands to
it's
do,
not
like maybe
easy.
learning to shovel. I'm gonna remember that in 2 days because I learned to do it with my hands, and you can do it repetitively because I've done it over and over with my hands. But other than that, there's not much things I think. I don't want to doubt myself, but that's just how I feel about it. Is that I don't think there's going to be things that I can remember long term to do when things happen. And that's also coming from like me try to remember a conversation from this morning, to have a conversation later on with someone about that. I won't remember that conversation I tried to remember earlier to have that conversation later. So that's gone for me. I don't have memory to remember something that happened earlier. Or
That sounds
if I go do
that
the
sounds
research on
really
something, it's like,
discouraging. I'm sorry.
yeah, if it's like I do the research on something, um, I'm not gonna remember that in a few hours to go tell somebody, hey, this and this happened, or I learned this, this, and this. I literally have to have it wrote down to
Yeah.
remind
No.
somebody that this is what I learned.
That sounds really discouraging. But you are still in recovery mode right now, and you may feel differently in the near future or far future. I hope, you know,
Mhm.
and you're doing really well for what's been going on. True story,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, people been telling me
Right?
I'm doing good for it, so
You're doing great.
I'm good.
You're doing really great for considering medical history in the short term, right?
Yeah.
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 How old is Pookie again? 26?
Ah, I wish. Man, 26. Yeah, I like
That
the way you
you
put that.
would be able to like remember things better if you were. It is like besides listening, I feel like I definitely learned differently after the seizures. Can't just listen to something. I would have to write it down or say it out loud or
Same.
act it out essentially. So
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
you can definitely still do it,
Yeah.
especially
I'm
when it's
like the king
recovery.
of the post-it note. I'm the
Yeah.
post-it note.
It
In,
still has to
in
be repetitive.
yeah, I'm with you, Kate. That is 100% me. But so you got a quick diagnosis because it happened in front of people in class and stuff.
Oh no, they already knew something was going on because I was run over by a car when I was 5. Uh, every time I start that story, I just gotta explain the whole story. So now let
Go
me
ahead.
start. I was I was run over when I was 5. I was drugged 40 Carlins. I had one seizure when I was 5, and
Okay.
then I was put in a coma for 33 days, and then I started moving again. So yeah, I'm here. Um,
Okay.
and I didn't have seizures for 11 years. And once I was 16, I had 2 seizures 2 days apart, and that's when they were like, "You have epilepsy." And I have encephalomalacia on the right side of my head, which is soft brain tissue. Um, so then they already knew something was going on. I guess they just hoped I didn't get seizures, and they didn't explain that to my mom that might or could, or whatever the case. So when I started having seizures, it was just like the
It's
early
about time.
2000s and or like mid 2000s. Yeah, just no one knew anything about it. My mother didn't get to see the first few seizures because I was in school. So then eventually, when I did have one at home, she got to see it and get an understanding for what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, so it takes a little while to get that diagnosis sometimes.
Mine's was pretty quick, as far as I know. I was in the eighth grade, and I was walking to school one day, and I just pretty much, from what I know, I fell down in between some cars and woke up. Here I am in the ER. And the ER told my parents they think I might have had a seizure, but they weren't 100% sure. I guess, no thing. Fast forward a few months, I have grand mals right in front of my parents. Get sent to the ER. Boom. They give me Dilatin, and my seizures continue until I was already waiting, but it was not like, it was like a 3-month wait. When I saw my first neurologist, it was like already right there. Like, yeah, you're epileptic.
Were you
Like, you
happy to
didn't
find
even
out that you had epilepsy?
me. I didn't
Because I
even
know
know
there's
what
some
it was.
people who
I
are
had
like
to look it
sitting.
up.
I know some people they had like the symptoms or whatever for so long, and then they're finally happy to figure out. Okay, all this has been happening. I'm glad to figure out it's epilepsy. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was just like, I'm trying to figure all this out. Like, what the hell is going on? You know,
Yeah.
like
So,
why me and all that stuff. But eventually, that was what I've been dealing with it close to 30 years now. So, you know, after I would say 10, after the first 10 years, I was just like, yeah, I'm epileptic. You know,
Yeah.
I'm okay.
James, how you doing? And Mark, how you guys doing? Haven't seen you guys today.
Hanging in there. Had another one on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning ish, like 2 a.m.
Oh no.
over
Oh, so that
those.
was like right after I talked to you, right?
Yeah, I was saying I wasn't feeling too well on Tuesday, so I ended up going to bed a little earlier or early for
I
me, so around
remember
like
that.
9
Yeah.
o'clock, and then the next thing, like I remember, I don't know, just laying there for a while, and then like got somebody over me, just like you had a seizure again, and I was like, fuck. And yeah, so it wasn't too bad. They said it was pretty short. I only bit my lip and my cheek a little bit this time. Usually I bite them pretty well. So I guess because it was a shorter one, it wasn't all that bad. So it's all right. I got a little bottle of like the Orajel in my cabinet. I just rub it on there and it like
Yeah.
numbs it for a bit, and then
Oh
good
man.
good to go. But yeah, my shoulders and like thighs were kind of sore. My body was just twitching a lot, I guess. So
Cool.
it usually takes a couple days. There was nothing out of the ordinary for the ones that I have, at least.
It's a good
I,
workout.
yeah, I didn't miss a dose of my meds or anything, or nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah, it was really weird.
So that would be considered unprovoked when you took all your meds and all that, right?
Yeah. Sometimes it
Yeah,
just comes on its monthly schedule or whatever.
A breakthrough
yeah,
seizure, my doctor
it did.
calls them.
Yeah, I've heard that term before. Yeah. Usually, I don't know
Are
what it started, but like a year ago or so, they've been, I don't know, every like 2 to 3 weeks or so now. They used to only
are
be
you
like
drug
once
resistant?
every like 6 months or something. So we'll see. We'll see now. I'm starting my countdown clock in my head from that one till about 2 weeks from now, and we'll see if it continues. But
Yeah,
Dane,
Are
when I
you
looked up
Joe
the
that was
definition of what is a breakthrough seizure, I think it said like there's something like a year in between each seizure is what they call that a breakthrough. And for some
Oh yeah.
reason, I was always going to the emergency room and telling them it's just a breakthrough seizure. I have epilepsy, and this just happens. And
I figured it just meant the medicine wasn't working. Like you're breaking through
uh,
the medicine is what how I interpreted it in my mind.
Yeah.
no, the breakthrough
Okay,
is
good,
like with
good to
a
know.
break,
Good to
Has to
know.
be
year break
controlled.
in between.
Good to know. Good to know.
Go ahead, Mark.
The epilepsy has to be at a point where it's considered controlled before there can be a breakthrough. Otherwise, what's it through?
Okay. Okay. Good to know.
okay,
Good to
yeah,
know.
mine's definitely not right now. Or
Yeah.
I wouldn't call every couple of weeks controlled, but
Oh no.
for for some people that might be, a benefit. But yeah, for me, it only started not too long ago in the overall, scheme of things from when I started having seizures. So I don't, yeah, I don't know what's up. I've
Yeah.
switched from the clobazam to the Vimpat now, and it still seems like it's been the every 2 to 3 weeks in that time frame. So yeah, we'll see in a couple more weeks. I've only been on the back on the Vimpat now at this dosage for like a month or so, I think. So I'll give it a little more time before I start talking to my doctor about another option or something.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. That stinks.
Sucks.
Yeah. Today I'm actually going on 4 months, you guys. Today it's 4 months. I'm usually every 3 to 4 months, so I'm due for a seizure, just so you know.
Since the stroke or since the last seizure?
Since the last seizure,
Oh,
I'm
okay,
4 months
okay.
for seizure free today.
Nice.
So yeah, usually, like I say, my seizures are usually 3 months apart. So I'm due for one. I will post it from the emergency room. You guys always know me from the hospital bed after a 3 month break. I'll post a video from the hospital bed in a gown or something if I
Or
piss
let's flip
myself.
it.
I don't
What are
want to
you
see you
planning
in the
on doing to
hospital
prevent
again.
the seizure, to prepare for this one? If you're due for a breakthrough, are you taking any steps to make it a little better, or like quicker to come out of it or something?
I
Take your
got a dumb
B12.
question. My dumb question is, what do I do to prepare? That might be a dumb question to some, but
No,
what do
not at
you
all.
suggest doing?
Not
Because
at all.
my regular is just eating right. I'm doing that way more because my mom, she cooks 3 to 4 times a day. So yeah,
God bless
my
her.
eating has gotten way better, and I'm getting my walks in. Post stroke has changed a lot, but yeah, to what do I do to prevent the next seizure? I don't know. That's why I just always tell the nurses it's just a breakthrough seizure. It's just all right. This happens.
Okay, so for one of these breakthroughs, you call the breakthroughs ones that have no triggers, like you're on your meds, you're eating right, you're doing all those things. So it's not like you can prevent any of the triggers. It's sometimes you tend to like not drink enough water or something like that.
No, breakthroughs are when they're stabilized. So these aren't breakthroughs. These are just out of
Yeah,
rhythm seizures.
Okay, yeah, I should call these surprise ones or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah.
these are
I just always tell the
serendipitous.
nurses that. I tell them that when I'm in the emergency room, just so they're not worried. I'm just like, this is just a breakthrough. This just happens. It's all right.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's not a breakthrough.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish there
Well,
was some
you
more
know
rhyme
just
or
as good as us
reason.
how to prepare.
Yeah, I'm prepared every day. Prepare for life.
Yeah.
Amen
Just
to that.
Have you ever been able to take emergency meds, or do you
yeah.
have emergency meds by your bedside? Or,
Yeah.
I mean, are you prepared in that way?
Yeah.
Um, what I would say a month ago, I would say, why have emergency meds when no one's there to give them to you when you need them or take them or have a seizure or whatever the case. No, I've never used emergency meds. My most recent living situation was before these past 3 or 4 weeks. And I was home a lot alone then. So, no, there was no use of the emergency meds, so much that I had emergency meds that were expired. I had nasalium that was expired. 2 years expired.
Yeah, you should call and get those and put them everywhere like I have them all over my bedstands and the corner of all everywhere. But I used them once, but I don't think hindsight's, whatever. And I don't think I was having a seizure. I think I was just paranoid delusional and I took one anyway.
How was that?
Better safe than sorry.
I just sniffed it, it burned, and I went, oh shit, I'm not having a seizure. And I smoked some weed and went on with my life.
Well, the nasalium is stronger than a lot of rescue meds, so you might have been going into one and it knocked you right out of one.
It burned. It burned. Well, if it did, it burned me right out of it. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Because if you take like whatever dose they tell my wife to give me, I have to go to the hospital. Anyways.
Right.
Yeah, before the last surgery, I had a little spike of grand mals at night, and they were lasting a little longer than before for some reason, and they gave my wife the nasal or whatever, and so if it lasted longer than, I forget what, 2 minutes or something, she would squirt me with that stuff, and it would stop the seizure, but then it's a benzo, I think.
Yeah.
So then you got to go to the hospital to be monitored. So it's just like any other seizure where you wake up at the hospital, but you got like that crap in your beard instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't taste good.
So it doesn't really work for you, is what you're saying.
No, it stopped. She says it stopped the seizure.
Oh, okay.
But it knocks you out. So like from the time of being in a seizure to being knocked out is like,
oh yeah, it's that strong.
Yeah.
Do you go to the emergency room after every seizure?
Yeah, I don't after every seizure, but after every nasal and whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nasally. Yeah.
Yeah, because like after like like you're doing damage to your brain when you're having any seizure, but especially a generalized seizure. And so they were trying to they didn't want like the long ones, especially if you have the status epilepticus, the ones where you don't come out. And so they were really trying to prevent that from going on, because I had one that went kind of long, and then I was goofy for a little while. Like in post-ictal time, I was very, very confused. So they gave her that so that they could interrupt the longer seizures in theory, and it does work. And we haven't used it in 3 years now.
I do have
Part of
anything
the reason
something right
why
here.
I got off the Klonopin.
Yeah, I use that when they cluster.
Yeah, I was taking Klonopin because I had clusters, a lot of them. My longest cluster was 6 hours long.
Oh shit!
Jesus.
Yeah. I thought it was status epilepticus. When I was going that long, and then the only thing they got to stop it was the dissolving Klonopin pill. And after that, yeah, I had to take Klonopin every night. But then they also had given me nasalium for emergency. So I'm like, I got 2 emergency meds. Come on.
2 benzos?
Yeah.
Well,
don't take them both at the same time.
Well, they
Medic,
said if you have
not
one,
medically.
boom,
Yeah,
shove it up your.
medically.
I was I was I was prescribed to take Clonopin daily, and then they put me on the Excopri too, and I'm like, oh god, it's
I
like
got something.
my
You didn't
seizures are
like the
just getting
Excopri
stronger.
coma?
I really don't notice the Excopri other than though I feel like my word finding is a little bit worse with the
Yeah,
Excopri. But I
the
definitely don't notice any of the reasons why somebody might want to steal that medicine.
the plus side is for people like me who have drug resistance epilepsy, it does provide, like, some people said they had maybe a year without a seizure.
Well, I wasn't one of those people,
Yeah.
I
And
know.
me neither,
but I also take it.
considering I had one a few days ago.
I do got something here, you guys. It says, does anybody have any tips for memory? Hey everyone, I have TLE and I'm getting really frustrated with my memory, my inability to find words when I want them and struggling to read them out loud without tripping over words. I'm thinking about trying to go back to work part-time soon, but I am not sure how successful I will be while dealing with these things in ways that I currently am. Does anyone have any suggestions?
Got a great
Um,
one.
Someone told me a while ago, just try like little what's it called, Sudoku, crosswords, stuff like that. I have not tried those, but I was told that you should try those.
Or just a really small notebook and write everything down that you think you need to remember.
Oh yeah, take
I don't,
notes.
I don't think really anything's going to super improve your memory super quickly.
I think more
So,
Routine.
adapt, learn to live with it kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's also
Routines.
helpful to know that like a large majority of the people out there feel like, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting stuff all the time because of the pace of our culture and our world. You know, that like if you talk to virtually any, go into a random Wendy's and start, if you had a conversation with almost anybody, they're going to be like, I'm forgetting everything these days. And I think it's because we're inundated with information all the time. But for me, the most important thing about memory is, oh crap, I forget. No, I'm kidding. It's post-it notes. Post-it notes works for me. I writing something down and then like putting it in my pocket, and then even just having it folded up with the handwritten thing on there for some reason makes me remember it. And I don't look at it. I just know that it's in my pocket and I tap it. Like got my nicotine in one pocket, got the note in the other. I know that I gotta get my son at 3:45. It's weird. I don't know why, but writing it
Well,
down,
like
folding.
writing it down is a second time of saying it kind of to yourself, so that
Yeah.
helps
Yeah.
out. But yeah, some of you know I carry a pocket watch with me, and on one end of the chain, it's a pen, an extending pen,
Very cool.
Oh, there you go.
and it's one of
That's
those little
cool.
detachable keychains, so I can just take it right off of the chain that's on there, and then have the pen separate and write whatever I need to down real quick. Comes in handy too, yelling at the kids at school. So
I like that it's attached to you because then I wouldn't be able to put it down and leave it somewhere.
yeah,
Oh, that's a beautiful idea. That's a good
a
idea. That's
lot.
There you
nice.
go.
Where did you get
Yeah,
that?
I got
What's the story behind the pocket
That's a
watch?
nice pocket watch.
I just really I was a bicycle mechanic for over 20 years, so I just like
Okay.
mechanical stuff and miniature stuff, so that worked perfectly, and I started collecting a bunch of watches, and then I dress with a vest and wear one almost every day.
I
I
love
know
it.
it's
That's cool.
weird, but it's weird,
No,
but it
that's
works.
cool. I like it. I like it. I like the idea of it being like tethered to the person so that it doesn't get left like all of my waters around the house.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't remember shit. I run a business and I got two guys working for me. And especially since I had my seizure like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I talk to my phone. I put all my notes in my phone and stuff like that. But I do have to look at like past estimates when I look at customers, when I talk to customers, and like I'll give them a new. I don't remember shit. I don't remember doing their boat. I don't remember doing shit, like anything. And when I meet them, I'm like, holy shit, I don't even know. And then I walk on the boat. I look at my pictures. That's what I do. I take a ton of pictures and I look at my pictures. I'm like, holy shit, I did this. Like, I am fucking awesome. And I go back, I revisit all my pictures. I'm like, dude, I get an incredible ego from this shit because I'm like looking at before and afters, and I see I did it because my pictures there and stuff. So yeah, it's good for my ego, but I still can't remember shit. You got to write it
Dude,
down or talk to your phone. You got to
I
write
am with
everything
you.
down. Yeah.
I think you and I are on the same wavelength. When I worked at the shelter, I would have like a new person would come into the office and they'd be like, John, it worked. Thank you so much. And I'd be like, oh, okay. He's not a new person. We've obviously interacted before,
Pictures,
or
my
they'd like,
friend.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, shoot, he knows my name. And like, um, and I have to like look for like key signifiers of like what the thing is to like unlock the memory that's like stored away. You almost like pray that somebody has like a horrific scar or like is like green
Yeah.
hair or something, so I can be
Well,
like, right, the guy with green hair.
what I'm hoping is I could fake it and get them to tell me their names, but then I still don't remember. So the names are, it doesn't matter. So I just, like I said, I have to look at the invoice and look at them. And it's happened a lot. And so now I don't have my employees. I told them to find other work for a couple of weeks for right now and until I get my shit together.
Oh man.
At least I don't have to deal with that, but I make money off of them. So it sucks. And then, like when I left, I'm working for this really rich guy, and he had me last week. I worked. I did lie. Last week I worked, and I put a fighting chair in this Hatteras, and I wasn't going to work. But the guy's like, "Oh, I got a charter. It's got to be put in today," and so I'm like, "Cool." And I overcharged him, and I went to get paid today, just now. Man, I don't have the money. Can I pay you in a few days? I was fucking lit. Talk about getting mad and being an angry freaking epileptic. Yeah, I almost hit that point, but I was like, no, it's cool. Yeah. But yeah, thinking about pushing them down the stairs, same thing. So my memory's shot. So yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
how you do it. James, how do you deal with your memory? Like you just had those seizures the other day. Do you wake up and like look at your people around you and like who are you? Like, I look at my dogs, I didn't know who they were. It takes me a while.
That could be an indicator of a nocturnal.
Yeah, mostly I have nocturnal. Yeah. But if I have a seizure, I wake up and I know it. I'm down for 3 days. Like I'm emotionally crying and stuff.
But that would be the tonic-clonic.
And if you have nocturnals, you can actually have an indicator of where the focal point is. That's the front of
Yeah.
your temporal lobe.
Yeah, they already know it's temporal lobe seizures and stuff. I actually had another EEG. Dude, it was crazy 2 days ago. And they had a contrast. So I had to be in that tube for like 40 minutes. Dude, I was crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, I like
I
the contrast ones.
Yeah, I just don't. I think I was never claustrophobic, and all of a sudden, I think I'm claustrophobic after my seizures. I was like, I made it through, but man, I was sweating. And they're like, "Oh, don't touch your face, don't do it." My nose itches. Fucking retarded, man.
There's always that moment when they're sliding you into the tube that you think, if I had to get out of here, I don't know that I could.
Yeah, yeah. I
My
got that
mom
fucking
did.
gate. I got that fucking gate in front of your face. So
Right?
you don't
Yeah.
We will
move, and
put you
you're all
in
padded
an
in.
MRI with a VNS.
My mom got out of there. That's when she learned she was claustrophobic.
Yeah.
She said she was getting some MRI done on her back, and she said she got in the tube and then she just wiggled all the way out.
Yeah.
Um, she told the people she was uncomfortable with it, and I guess she tried to do it a few more times, and then she was just like, "Nah, I can't do
Yeah,
it."
they give you a panic button now, but nowadays they have open MRIs, so you don't even need to go in the tubes. And
They have those short ones, but they're not as like the images aren't as good. They say.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, hers is on her back, so I figured being that you got to be in there with that much. Some of your body is, I mean, upper half.
In there, yeah.
Oh, it's
Claustrophobic.
anxiety, dude. It's total anxiety. At one point, I thought the guy put his hand on my chest, but it was just my heart beating so fast, And then I was like, "Oh man, that 40 minutes is a long time to be in that freaking." Plus,
I think the
I
last
was in that mask
MRI
when they
I
put
did,
the thing in my arm. They have to
Yeah.
inject.
I told them to put me to sleep.
Oh,
Oh
really?
yeah,
Yeah,
You can do that. Yeah, you can request to be sedated.
Holy fuck! Are you serious?
Yeah,
That
they
fucking
trying to
pisses
do
me off.
that.
Yeah, I want to be sedated, please.
you
Yes.
can.
They
The
they
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 tried
will
to
put
do
you to
that with my
sleep, and
mom,
they will
but
even put music, or you
Did,
can even watch a movie while
hey,
you're in
did your
there.
mom do? Did she do okay when they sedated her?
when they sedated her, they didn't give her nothing to fall asleep. They gave her some stuff just to be drowsy, and she said it didn't work. She said either way, she
No,
knows
you got
her
to be
body
out,
knows it's
dude.
going in the tube,
Yeah,
and she
no, fuck that. When they give tramadol, like I give that to my dog. Like that's not going to do shit.
what does
oh,
that do
dude,
to a dog?
I've
What's
had
that?
hours
Puts her
and
to sleep.
hours of MRIs. It's like I go in there and I get into like a meditative space. It's
Me too.
almost like I like it. It's like nice.
Really?
It's like how I make myself fall asleep at night.
Yeah, that's one thing I can. I used to meditate 3 times a day, but since my seizures, I cannot meditate. My mind is racing, man. I even try breathing, and dude, nothing's working. So that's
Yeah.
probably another reason I'm tossing and turning a lot.
Yeah. You probably got a lot on your mind.
Yeah, little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Big stuff. Monkey mind, they call it, right?
Yeah.
I got a few of these comments from that one post about the memory. One says activities like crosswords for recall. Another one says I'm not a doctor. I take CDP chlorine supplements and think they help with word recall. Sometimes I take alpha GPC chlorine instead, and it can be a little stimulating. I also take concentrated fish oil capsules, and they have often helped too. Finally, I take a multivitamin with all the B vitamins.
Well,
Another
fish
one says,
oil is
another one here says,
B12.
say that again.
The reason people recommend fish is because of B12, the vitamin B12. Fish, a lot of fish have that vitamin.
And if you don't want to eat fish, take that.
Yeah, B12. Yeah, fish oil.
Shout out to Nature's Made. There's no fish oil in it that I know of, but
Yeah.
I do the
works pretty
complex
good.
one.
I
I
haven't
take
had a
the
focal.
complex.
I'll
Haven't
make a
had
nice
one
big
focal since I
salmon.
started taking it.
That's good.
And I had focals to where I was blindly wandering off and stuff like
Put your
that.
hand
So,
put your hand in fryers and stuff.
I gotta take this home.
that was a regular seizure. My wandering off was next level.
Yeah, I really didn't like it. That bothered me a lot.
Yeah.
The wandering away thing. That's like,
Yes.
who is that guy? Like, right?
Right. like that situation in particular, just wandering off and going into that guy's home. Like I said, that man could have like really hurt me, and
Yeah,
said it was like
absolutely.
stand my ground type stuff.
Right.
So
He
I
doesn't know who
try,
you are.
yeah, I try to just to prevent situations like that. I guess I just try to prevent going outside because I really don't do much of that other than going outside to get my walks in, and yeah. Other than
I don't
that,
know what I would do if James came in my house spinning his pocket watch. I wouldn't, you might not first be like, "Hi, are you having a epileptic episode at the moment?" It would be disconcerting.
okay, what would you do
Right?
if some guy just started following you and then he just went in your house. Because that's what I
Right?
did. I woke up on the second floor when I lived on the fourth floor. And waking up with no shoes was confusing, but what was more confusing was what am I doing? And
Yeah.
when the guy opened his door, I just walked in and he just looked at me like, "What are you doing? What would you do?"
I guess go back to my video games like you did.
No, I'm saying as the guy who had someone walk right past him when he unlocked the door. Because I swear when he did this, I just walked in and he was just like, "Where's this guy going?"
I,
What's your
I
response to that?
try to talk to you, I guess.
Yeah, luckily he talked to me and didn't hurt
Yeah.
me. And
Yeah. There's more reactive people out there. So thank God that you and I bumped into the right non reactive ones. Years ago, I was getting a MRI or something, and I was talking to the tech, just shooting the breeze with one of these guys, and he was saying that he was in school, and he was fascinated by my condition because he was studying how epilepsy manifests itself differently in different people, and I didn't know very much about epilepsy then, like I don't now, but this has stuck with me all these years because it scared me so much. Is he said that he was particularly looking at a type of epilepsy where people have fits of laughter or like sexual gratification, like they seek it or they find it in themselves, and so like but then it also gave me sympathy working with street folks with like histories of like, quite frankly, like doing whatever they do on the bus that they're famous for by accident, and then being like, oh, it's drugs or it's whatever, but like we don't know what's going on with everybody. And like, what if it's outside of their actual behavioral control? I don't know.
I'll have to use that as an excuse. That's a good one.
Yeah, now you gotta get out of
You guys,
jail
that's
free
a
card.
joke. You guys
It's like I'm
relax.
having a seizure. Well, you still got to pay your fare. No,
Yeah, still got to pay your fare though.
no.
I
And
think
so, but then
AJ brought that up one night, didn't she?
I can't remember. Brought
The
up
rest
what?
of you guys?
I
The
don't
Because
know.
laughing Caesar, I know I heard of before.
Well, I'd
I
rather
think, yeah, Angel
laugh.
and Poogie, I think you raised your leg, but
Is
yeah,
that a
she said
real
she
type
felt
of
like that
epilepsy?
after.
I don't know if it's a type of epilepsy, but it's a definitely thing that like
A disorder.
it's a type of thing that can
Hmm.
happen to people where they lose track of who they are and then behave outside of
Yeah,
themselves.
erratically.
Right. Yeah. Or do something they wouldn't typically do.
And it's not schizophrenia.
Yeah. Or, I mean, that could be like we were talking before, right? Where like diagnoses then overlap,
Yeah.
where like in the future, they may look back and say, just like they say, like Dostoevsky went to Switzerland to uh, take care of his nervous fits, right? That we now call epilepsy, but they didn't have that word back then. So maybe they'll have some other new term for this thing that can be like intercepted and like early childhood that develops into epilepsy and schizophrenia and obesity. Who knows what's related to it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, who knows how these things are connected? They just discovered that the cannabinoid system is between our like fat layer and muscle. It's been there the whole time, right? It's weird. It's like they know so much and they know so little all at the same time.
Well, who
Yeah.
knows what AI is going to bring in the next couple of years?
Hope it's a bigger bowl.
Right.
All I say is the brain is the most complex computer in the world, and they're never going to figure it out
Right. But I do have
because it
something here.
constantly changes.
Got something here. It says, anyone feel this way? Days like today, it just feels like I'm right on edge having a seizure, and it makes me just want to lay down all day. It feels like I was just active and got my heart rate up and would overstimulated it would trigger a seizure. It's hard to explain, but I have these days where I just feel like I'm right on edge and it's uncontrollable and it makes it hard to function and be productive. It feels like my nervous system is just on edge. Can anyone explain? I think when I get my feel like I'm gonna have a seizure vibe, it's usually just like lay down or whatever the case. Um, or I usually get like my bad vibes used to be what I thought were precursors, and I was having seizures. Yeah, so I'm not sure what precursors are for mine because I just thought like focals and stuff, and I didn't know those were actual seizures were happening to me, and that's what I
Yeah.
thought was a precursor.
Yeah.
Um, hmm.
Right.
Be on edge all day. I think being on edge all day might make you a little nervous, and you might have a seizure just
Yeah.
Yeah.
being too nervous. I don't know if that's a thing. Being
Right.
too
Right.
nervous makes you
Yeah.
have a seizure.
Yeah, because that can be a trigger, which isn't good to know, kind of, because then you don't want to like do that thing where you back yourself into like a psychological corner where then your whole world is about, am I about to have a seizure? But if you can, what helps me is to think of it like mechanically, there's a thing called seizure that happens to my brain every once in a while. Sometimes I can sort of feel it coming, and I do these things that help me prevent it. And that's the best thing you can do. That's the best thing you can do about not getting hit by a bus crossing the street, right? Like if you think about how bad a bus would be if it hit you,
Yeah.
you'd never be able to cross the street. But like we got to go about our days somehow. And like, yeah, we're probably gonna have more seizures. We've had them already. So odds
Mhm.
are we'll have more seizures, but we can't live our lives being like,
Can't be
oh
scared.
no, my heart rate went
No.
up a little.
Can't be scared. Can't be make yourself a liability. Other
Right.
people can make you a liability, but don't make yourself a liability. You got to
Yeah.
go out there and do it. Like I'm not going to have anything hold me back. I mean, unless I get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. And but you probably are gonna have more seizures, but it can't
Yeah.
ruin your life.
No, no, I'm moving on. Like, I could precaution, like, what's her name? Katie said. What, that's her name, right? What were
Yeah,
we just talking about? See, one of
the
those
person
things.
who's on edge, and yes, we have all felt days where we feel like
Oh, yeah.
this might be a seizure day, and it feels imminently close. But that's a common symptom, I think, that people do. They can feel aware that there's like activity in their brain, and thinking about it is not the remedy for it, but also acknowledging it is sometimes helpful. So
But along
finding,
with that is a come fatigue, where you just don't feel like doing shit and you're lazy, you know?
yeah, which is true for if you're trying to quit eating sugary foods or if you're just trying to
Yeah.
get to work on time. It's all the same, you know? Yes, yes, I do. I have felt that for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
And
I
I
got
don't
some
like it.
comments.
I don't like it at all. I don't.
Oh.
I got some comments here. One says, I've been living on the edge of nothing for weeks. Now, as I am trying to remember my name, let alone what I did 5 seconds after trying to forget, I'm a dead woman not walking. Another one
Aw.
says, yes, I just feel wrong. I feel incapable of much other than being on my phone. Wow.
Tell her to
Oh,
join the zombie club.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Too bad.
We all feel that way. I mean, I feel that way. I shouldn't talk for you guys, but
Yeah. I mean, we're all
I'm a
honest on it.
zombie. And
I can
yeah,
be. Yeah. The phone is great.
yeah, it's just too easy to become a zombie on the phone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one more here. It says, yes, all last week I went to bed worried I shouldn't be sleeping. The lack of sleep is a trigger, so I went to bed, woke up next day to a shredded tongue, busted lip, numb face,
Ugh.
cramp in my neck that is still very painful, arms and legs not working as expected, postictal signs of a seizure while sleeping.
I
Sorry
would
to
say
hear that.
so. Unless you have a partner that really doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Biting, like you feel like you bit yourself, your lips, or your not your lips, the inside of your mouth. That's a
Oh yeah.
sign. Um, waking up to extreme confusion. That's a big
Or
sign.
Yeah.
crying,
Sore everywhere.
hysterical.
Yeah. Yeah. Being like your emotions get all confused.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Describing
and
me
like
2 nights ago, guys. Biting the tongue, waking up out of nowhere, being annoyed with the person
Right.
that wakes
for
you up. Yeah,
yeah,
that was me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks.
for
It's
Welcome
us
hard
back,
to
that
James.
know
Welcome
what
back.
those after
Don't forget the
seizure
headache.
feelings.
Oh, don't forget the headache. That's a great point.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
Don't forget the
yeah.
headache.
Yep, yeah, it was
Wait,
like
so
the throbbing on the two temples, man. Oh goodness.
Hmm.
don't
Yeah,
forget the
I
headache.
could not fall
You
back asleep after that, dude. It was
you feel
jeez.
That
like you've been hit by a semi.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
all those after seizure symptoms. That it's like, did I have a seizure? Wait, I just feel like I had a seizure.
Sounds
Like
bother
all of
me a
them.
lot
Yeah.
more than just about anything.
I
Times you
got
just
another one.
assume you had one because you feel like shit.
Yeah. If you're
Those,
not hungover and you feel like you're super duper 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 duper
Yeah.
hungover.
Like I feel hungover, but I didn't have anything to drink, so what the hell?
Yeah. If it feels
I
like you
usually
worked out a lot and then bit your tongue as hard as you could and then drank as much as you possibly could, but didn't do any of those things, then you might have had a seizure.
Yeah.
but yeah. But yeah, it's like the nocturnal ones are hard to tell because you're not going to go through the tonic-clonic phase most of the times. And
Especially if you wet the bed, anyways. But if you don't wet the bed and you didn't work out and you didn't have a
yeah,
night of drinking and you don't purposefully bite your
I
tongue,
think if you have a nocturnal seizure, I mean, don't they nocturnal ones? Don't they come in clusters or not necessarily? Am
not
I
not
necessarily.
lucky?
necessarily, but
All the
some are
ones
like,
that I had come in clusters, and I wake up. I know that I had a seizure. I mean, you fucking look around
yeah,
crying, and who the fuck are these dogs? Like, who am I? Like, and that doesn't
yeah,
go away right away. That takes days. At least
it-
for me, it took days to get over that.
yeah. The
Well,
nocturnal ones are the tough ones because, like, I have a camera right in my room and I can look at it and I will look at the days I have the nocturnal ones, and it might not look like I did anything while I was sleeping in the seizure, but I know I'll wake up. And I remember when I was with my wife, this was before I even had a camera. Um, when I used to live with her,
You remember pretty much the day before and what you did and everything.
sometimes, but not
uh,
always.
I remembered I used to wake up and like I used to ask her like, "Did I have a seizure?" She said no, but my body, like I know what a seizure feels like in my body.
Right, right, right. So, are you having convulsions or not?
Not always.
Um,
You can have
not
generalized
always.
without having like it does like tonic clonic is just one manifestation of a generalized seizure. So
Yeah,
like with the
absence is
RNS,
another one.
the RNS shows that my brain still is going into generalized seizure
Yeah,
activity, but I don't always have like the big like stiff jerking stuff.
right.
Um, but it's interesting, like my my wife and my dog are two different people. Um, but it's like my dog will know, this is what they tell me, the dog will know. And then my wife says that
Dogs will
my
definitely know.
breathing rapidly changes, and then sometimes it goes into like the more traditional like cartoon grandma stuff. And
Yeah,
then sometimes I sleep through the rest of it, and then I'll sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep.
yeah.
But sleeping's really good after seizures. My doctors,
Yeah, yeah. You have to sleep. The only way your brain will heal.
yeah.
But absent seizures, you won't go through the motor tonic-clonic stage, and you can feel like all that still.
But you're still staring into space. Still, your eyes are open,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah, and it might have been
Or
only
they'll
30 seconds.
But so like that's the funny thing about
Yeah.
seizures is that like it could happen at any part of your brain, so it'll show up differently at any part of your brain's activity, right?
Yeah. And that's stuff like absence, nocturnals and stuff like that. Those are good ways how they they can tell where the focal is at in your brain too. But yeah, because like certain things will give them indicators. All right, it's definitely starting here.
Which can help them.
It'll help them know where it's starting. It's just when you go like me, focal to bilateral, that means it starts there, but it ain't staying there.
Right. Andrea, do they know which side yours are starting on?
Not even sure how to answer that question, to be honest with you, because after my first EMU, they said right temporal lobe, but then after I had my first appointment with the new neurologist, all the paperwork that they gave me or that I found said a whole bunch of stuff that was different, and I can't remember what it was right now.
So it's kind of like you're
So,
starting over anyways with new
Yeah.
doctors.
right. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine's with when I started my seizure journey back when I was a teenager. They said left, and now it's going all over. It's doing too many things. I'm having too many different types of seizures.
Interesting.
Pookie had one of these too, where we basically been through that tonic-clonic seizure and still be aware of full tonic-clonic.
Yeah, that like frozen feeling.
So you don't lose time when you come out of that.
You remember the whole thing.
Oh,
It's
that's
like you
crazy.
come back before it's all the way over.
No, I've actually seen myself fall flat on the floor, not be able to control it, go into the convulsions and everything.
Oh man, that's gnarly. That's
Because
like jail cell. That's like
I've come back like when I'm like, it's like extinguishing the seizure, like in an ambulance, like rigid, and being like, oh, I'm having a seizure, and then like nothing else again, and then like you wake up again, and they're like sewing your face up or something. Those are weird. Like, you ever have sleep paralysis?
I do.
Yeah, it
I'm
felt like
working on
that.
getting it figured out now.
It was just like the feeling of sleep paralysis, where it's kind of like you're sort of aware that like you can't move, but you kind of don't want to move anyways because it's like something's sitting on you, but not. But you can, but then also your body's rigid. It's very strange.
Yeah. You lost all type of control over your body anyway.
my first seizure in 2017. I was working on a guy's boat. I had just moved from Florida to San Diego, and I drove straight through. Took 3 days. I hardly slept, and I went right to work like 2 days later after I moved here, and I had a seizure building a boat in the guy's garage. And he was watching me. He said, I drove a truck. And he says, I took my keys to my truck and I went up to a little sports car and I tried to put my keys in that. And then I walked around the car like several times and then I hit the deck. And then I woke up 5 days later or 4 days later in the hospital and they had me all chained up and stuff. And, they had me in fur line, handcuffs, and they were just about to induce a coma, and I woke up. And so then I didn't have then I didn't have a seizure for a few years after that. So, and I was in denial. I'm like, oh, I don't have epilepsy. I forgot all about it. And
One time I was playing soccer in a gym with my ex father-in-law, and I had a seizure. I don't remember like the build up to it or anything, but I had to get stitches, and I so I had like a hole in the front of my head, and I woke up on the thing, and I saw him, and he was like, "John, you had a seizure." And I was like, "Oh," and I went to go like, "Oh, shoot, that's a shame," because like seizures were like a huge part of our life then. And then like they're all like, "Don't touch your face, don't touch your face." And then I don't remember anything after that. But I do remember coming out for a second to see his face over me, looking a little nervous, and then going, "Oh no, don't touch your face."
Make it worse.
Yeah. Oh man, the ground is hard and unforgiving.
And the one that I had in March, luckily I was in my front yard on the grass. And then I hit the deck, really soft grass, and my neighbor saw me. But that's when I chipped my tooth. So, like my teeth,
Yeah.
yeah. So didn't matter. But at least I didn't hit my head on the cement or anything like that.
Yeah.
I done hit straight up concrete.
Concrete is
So,
hard.
You got to be more careful than that.
well,
Did
I
you
can't
wear
control it. I just stepped out the door.
I know you can't control it. It's not
you
being
should probably
sarcastic.
you should probably
I
wear a
stepped out
helmet.
the
Yeah, you
door
should
and
probably wear a football helmet or yeah, what do they call rugby helmet?
Yeah.
Yeah, next time I
I was
see you, I
on
want to
the.
see you in a helmet.
Yeah. What are you doing without your helmet on, Angel?
I don't want a helmet.
That's it. We're all chipping in and buying you a helmet. We
All
want to see
right.
you wear it all the time.
I'll stay
I've
stuck in the
seen
house.
somebody with one, but I'm
Yeah,
not sure if he had epilepsy or not. But yeah, I wanted to ask, but I didn't know how to ask a question like
probably
that. Like, what's the
retarded. You probably
illness
don't want to
for?
ask them.
Oh man. I
Probably a
cared
mongoloid.
I
No.
used to care for a guy that had epilepsy so uncontrolled that he required a helmet.
Yeah.
It was he had tonic-clonics all the time.
Maybe I should get one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Time you'll see me with one.
And
I had a.
the amount of times you hit the ground, yeah, I think I'm a candidate for CTE.
Fucking bump my head so much. I don't need to have a seizure to bump my head all the
Yeah.
time.
Well, yeah, I love it. I love it when you go to a neurologist and like, have you ever had a concussion before? And you're like,
Yesterday. Bump my
I
head on a freaking
I
cabin door.
assume so. I've never gone into that little tent that the NFL guys do, but like, I also did MMA for years. I wrestled, played football, and I've done kickboxing, and then occasionally my body, at its own whim, dives into the sidewalk or jumps out of bed. So yeah, I think I've had a concussion, but no one's ever been like, "You have a concussion."
You got to be more
Yeah.
careful than that.
And as many times as we get taken into the emergency room from hitting sidewalks or something, they don't think of, all right, let's give them a concussion test.
What is a
What good would it
concussion
do?
test? What do
They'd
they
ask us
do?
to
How many
remember
fingers am I
something.
holding up? Or
My least favorite test is at the beginning of the neurology appointments when they're like, "All right, horse, apple, Chicago," and then like 2 minutes later they're like, "What were
I
those three
forgot already.
words?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Was it
seriously,
diarrhea,
they ask you. They
misogyny?"
they tell you to remember stuff.
Well, yeah. So one of like the basic cognitive tests they usually give you is three things that have no categorical relationships.
Right.
Um, but then I always cheat and make a little story. So I'm like, "Oh, the horse ate an apple in Chicago," so that I can remember, which is cheating, I know, but I guess that's a type of learning and memory replacement. But the design of the test is to have somebody remember a couple of things that are
That would be
categorically
if
different.
someone asked me that after I bumped my head, it would get me angry. Like I wouldn't be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like
I think it was fist, and fist.
that's when I walk out.
No, this is in like a safe environment where they're like providing medication.
Yeah, but still, oh my gosh.
But it always makes me feel inferior.
Yeah, That's what they're trying to do. Yeah, Ben, well, we're gonna have to give you this suppository, otherwise you're gonna be really sick. So bend over, roll over, you'll be
Oh
fine.
man, we have different doctors, I think.
Yeah, probably. Maybe that's why I'm so angry. Huh?
I got something though, guys.
Okay.
Is are there any interesting things that trigger your seizures? 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with epilepsy, and since then, I've become more aware of it. I realized that certain things that trigger me, they don't trigger me constantly, but they usually result in many seizures. For example, my first seizure occurred while I was with a family member, and I experienced at least three mini seizures while I was with them. Maybe a psychological, I don't know, or maybe I'm overthinking it. Do you have any similar experiences or things that make you remember that this is what I did last time I had a seizure? I don't remember right offhand, but I'll go through some comments. One says music and loud
Extreme
noises are
stress
triggers.
for everybody.
Come again?
I say extreme stress is going to be the number one trigger for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. That's
Yeah.
what everybody's saying. You under too much stress.
Any
Yeah.
interesting things that trigger seizures for you guys?
Well, I mean, the things that I know that I need to stay on top of or my seizures get worse are hydration and sleep, and like the other stuff is like, yeah, taking your medicines on time, right? But then like everything else is kind of it rains and the grass grows for the good and the bad, right? Like life is chaotic. So what I can control is make sure I have enough sleep, make sure I have enough hydration, take care of my body as well as I can. And then the rest is kind of a crapshoot. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but it is like,
No, you're exactly right. That's the only thing you can do.
yeah,
And not be angry and just kind of be peaceful or whatever,
yeah,
self.
yeah.
Try to
But
be happy.
if I'm dehydrated and out of sleep, like my chances of having a seizure go up a lot.
Yeah, mine too. Have to be hydrated. Electrolytes.
Yeah, and I'll notice it. I'll definitely notice it like if I go to Home Depot, and I think where there's like a lot of different conversations that you can tune out. But if I start like having to like filter stuff, it starts provoking whatever that weird thing is that like is before the aura. Or it's like it overwhelms the brain or something. I don't know. I would love to be able to like figure out what it is. Because sometimes I go into Home Depot and I'm like, I love this place. I get the thing I need and then I can leave and move on with my day or whatever. But like sometimes I go into like a place like Target and I'm like, why is everybody here? Why, like, and then I can feel that like the percolation of that feeling of like, oh shit, here it comes. Or that like weird, like, oh, we were here already. We've done this. And I'm like, nope, that's definitely seizure
So
activity.
you think it's background noise?
Well, I think it's the reticulating activating system. That something about that is malfunctioning with whatever I'm missing in here. Because I've had a couple of resections too, and the damage over the years. That the filtering mechanism. Like if I go in there with headphones in, it's easier. Like if I put even like a book on tape or just music,
Yeah.
it's not so bad for me. But like when I was working at the shelter, like my office was like right off of like the lobby where like people would come in to like mingle, and it'd get like rowdy out there. People playing dominoes and whatever. And some days, like if I wasn't on top of all of my shit being in a row and okay, it would just be like oppressive sound, and I would have to dilute it with something else, even if it was closing the door to talk to somebody just to like have it not be, and then I would still have seizures anyways. So I don't know. Try to find the areas that like if it's fluorescent lights, go outside. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think everybody's different, It
Yeah.
depends on what type of seizures you're having,
Yeah, try not to obsess about it and then take notes.
Yeah. Stay hydrated and take your meds at the
Yeah.
same time every day.
Speaking of, I'm late. I will be right back. I will take
Yeah,
my
me
meds
too.
and
I'll be
return.
back in a little bit. I got to eat some food.
I just gotta take my medicine. I'm late. I never ever miss my medicine. That's not true.
All right. Interesting things that trigger seizures. We went left after that. Let me read a couple of these comments. One says music and loud noises. Another one says I regularly get mild focal awares when waiting to cross a road as a pedestrian. It is definitely too frequent and specific to be a coincidence. I don't know why. LOL. Got one here that says Tetris, Overcooked 1 and 2, Partner Dancing, Played Up, and Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Evidently, my brain doesn't like vertical puzzle or cooking games, and the dancing, I don't get it at all.
Tetris games. Guess they're focusing too much or something.
The motion of crowds of people moving or the motion of cars moving in the opposite directions, visual overstimulation, like looking at shelves in a supermarket, trying to follow a conversation in a loud place where sounds is coming from multiple directions. One more. It says nostalgia. There were probably other factors at play when I was having seizures on occasions when looking at the past, especially things not seen or heard in years, did seem to bring out some heavy emotions and that triggered an aura or two.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.